that Friday glow. Hi, my name is Isabella and this is my life unfiltered. Welcome back to my channel. Today I'm giving you very cream, neutral, match the background aesthetic vibes. So I waited to film this video because I thought I should have enough experience. At least I couldn't be talking about the pros and cons just being like 2 months into the job. But now that we're almost at a year, so here we are talking about it. These pros and cons are solely based on my opinions and personal experiences. Also, these are based on my institution that I work at. It could be different for you or for other places. Take it with a grain of salt. Every experience has its pros and cons. So yeah, let's get on to it. I'm kind of gonna go back and forth with the pros and cons with some of them because a few of them are kind of like in contrast to each other, so don't be confused. I will make a summary towards the end of this video. Pro number 1 is scheduling. Working in the OR, usually when you apply as a full-time regular staff, you get weekday schedule. Really, most of the cases happen during the weekdays and only a few emergency cases happen during the weekends and holidays. We do have weekend staff, it's just not as much as we would have during the weekdays. Also for holidays, usually people sign up for it. We don't normally have to do holidays. The con side towards scheduling is that you have to be on call. This could be a con to those who don't have that much time or who have families to tend to, especially with like babies. For example, you can be on call for like 3 to 11 and you get called in at 10 p.m. and you gotta go, girl. Life on call means that you have to be there within like an hour. Some places have it way less. Good thing for my institution, we have an hour to get to the hospital. For example, you're covering 7 to 3 shift. If you get called in at 2 p.m., you have to go. I had this experience once where I was working with someone who got called in and I think they were in the middle of their grocery shopping and they literally had to leave the cart full of groceries in the middle of the grocery store because they got called in. So just keep in mind, things like that could happen, like in the middle of whatever you're doing, you can get called in. One way to think about being on call as a pro is that you get extra money for being on call and you get more money for being called in. At first, I thought you didn't get paid for being on call, but apparently you do. So even if you don't get called in and you cover like 7 to 3 a.m. or 3 p.m. for example, you get paid those hours. Another pro is that it's less costly on scrubs. I believe that for most hospitals, they provide their own scrubs for OR people so that everyone's like the same and neutral and uniform. I went into it like I thought I had to buy all the scrubs that I needed, but I haven't bought a single pair of scrubs ever since I started last year. So that's a good thing because it saves you a lot of money and you know, you can just come in whatever clothes you're wearing to the hospital and just change into scrubs. We have this machine that holds all of the scrubs and we would just like put our code in that corresponds to the sizes that we set it to and it'll just dispense the scrubs. At the end of the day, there's another machine where we can like put our scrubs away so they can be washed and cleaned again. Another pro is that it is more of practical thinking and knowing what to anticipate. Also, it's more task oriented. OR requires more of memorization and anticipation, like knowing what to use for a certain surgery. It's all about knowing the right instrumentation and equipment needed for a certain surgery to go smoothly and efficiently. Working in the OR really requires you to be on your feet and be ready for anything that could be thrown at you. That's why I feel like it's one of the most high pressure environment because you'll never know what to expect going into the OR every day. It's never the same thing. You're never with the same patient. Every case is always a different patient, so you have to be ready for anything. Surgeries can be the same, but like when a situation requires you to improvise or solve a problem really quick, then you have to be quick on your feet and you just have to think fast. Now the downside to it is that It requires less of critical thinking since there is less interaction with the patient. I know with med-surg or critical care nursing, you have this consistency with like applying your nursing skills to one patient, but you see less of that in the OR since you're more focused on the things that you'll need for this patient's surgery to be successful. Some people like that, some people may not like that, so it really depends on what you like to see or what you like to do with your nursing career. Another pro is being able to build relationships with a team. Every day you're always working with a team and there's not a time where you're working independently. Although you do have independent functions, you're still kind of working with a broad range of people. Other nurses, other scrub techs, surgeons, residents, sometimes medical students, vendors, anesthesiologists, pharmacy, like it's a whole multidisciplinary vibe. I consider it as a pro since you get to build connections, and I feel like in the OR you develop more of like a direct relationship with other surgeons or other nurses. It requires you to be a team player, and this is a really important thing, especially when there's a complicated surgery, for example. But if you have a good team, if you have that good connection with your team, it kind of takes off some of the weight off your shoulders and you get to work more efficiently. The downside to it is rude surgeons, and this is always going to be a thing. Not every surgeon is going to be happy and positive and willing to be a team player. Wherever it is, we will always encounter rude or mean people, or not even just the surgeons. Sometimes it's also like your fellow staff members, and that could be like the worst part of your day sometimes when you're working with people who are not very much of a team player. Sometimes it's also because of the surgeries that they're doing. For example, here in the Midwest, orthopedics is very like cutthroat. I see some of the surgeons and they're like robots. They're just like go, 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 go. At the end of the day, you just gotta think about your patient. If someone is stepping over you or being rude, just stand your ground and just be like, I am doing this for my patient, okay? Let me do my job. Another pro, and this is I think my favorite, it's seeing cool surgeries. Surgery itself is freaking cool, man. I wish I could show you half of the things that I see in the OR, but HIPAA is a thing. I don't know, maybe I'm crazy for thinking those things are cool, like blood and guts and just seeing insides or like the anatomy. And there are times where you can be in a surgery and you're like, oh my gosh, I am actually a part of this person's like appendectomy. Even if it's something as simple as an appendectomy. Or sometimes I'm like, wow, I'm really a part of this person's boob job. As weird as that sounds, it's like you were there, you know, when you saw everything. So yeah, it's pretty cool. Sometimes it feels really rewarding. For example, kids with cleft palates. I think this is one of those surgeries where it felt really rewarding to be a part of. Seeing kids have their cleft lip or palates like repaired, it's just like, it's such a beautiful thing sometimes. Like, how many people can have that experience if you think about it? I'm just really hyping up OR nursing right now. Okay, one last con that I can think of is that the OR can be a very high intensity environment, which I know is not for a lot of people. It's very much organized chaos, if you know what I mean. You can be in a very chaotic situation, but you still have to maintain your organization or else nothing is gonna get done efficiently. I personally work best when I'm under pressure or when I have to think fast, if I know I have to think fast and come up with a solution. But I know for some people it gives them a lot of anxiety. It really does come with experience, just knowing what to anticipate in a high intensity situation. Even now I can't really fully say that I'm confident enough to be like put in a situation where it's a very complex case and a lot of unexpected things could happen. Some days it's slow, some days it could be really fast, and you just have to be ready. So yeah, that is it for the pros and cons. I'm so glad I finished this video before daylight runs out. To summarize it all, you will love working in the OR because of scheduling. No weekends, no holidays, unless you personally sign up for it or apply for those shifts. It is less costly on scrubs. It's more practical thinking and knowing what to anticipate. It is being able to build relationships and connections with your team members. Cool freaking surgeries. And finally, the cons: being on call and you don't have that extra time, or you're not able to be rushed. It's being more or less critical thinking and less direct patient care. Rude surgeons or staff members. And most of the time having to be in high intensity situations. Okay, that's it for this video. I hope I enlightened you guys on some of the pros and cons of being in the OR. If I did convince you to take that OR nursing job, let me know down in the comments. I hope I gave more insight about OR nursing and just being in surgery in general. If you have more questions, feel free to leave them down below. I'll try to answer them, or I'm thinking about making like a Q&A type of video where I can just compile all the questions I've gotten so far and answer them all in one video. Leave a comment down below. Definitely give this video a thumbs up if you liked it, and if you don't, still give it a thumbs up, please, because we're a growing channel. I feel like I don't say this enough, but thank you to those who are new here or who have been subscribed and have been liking my videos. It really motivates me to be more consistent with posting when I see my videos doing good or like my channel growing. I hope you guys have a wonderful day. Follow me on my Instagram, subscribe, and stay for a while. And I'll see you at the next video. Okay, bye! Seriously, how many people can say that I was there when this man's hand got amputated? Oh, this dog.